West Side. Let me plot. Let me stop playing. Oh yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlefolk, my name is Frenegades. I forgot to get this disc out of the game, but you read the title. You already know what I'm playing. Today, I'm going to be reviewing. Let me get it out. I also wanted to mention that this is like a last second thing. I was thinking about reviewing Subway Surfers while I was doing something, but yeah. Today we are reviewing Mortal Kombat Deception. Yeah, I never had the actual case. This is just what I got it at when I bought it. But yeah, let's go over it. Mortal Kombat Deception is the sixth main entry game into the Mortal Kombat series, released in 2004 for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube, the Nintendo GameCube, and then was later released in 2006. Well, re-released in 2006 as under the name of Mortal Kombat Unchained for the PSP, which included more characters like Frost, Jax, Katana, and somebody else. I don't remember who else was in there, but they're basically all just ports from Deadly Alliance. But yeah, so this game is what I would consider to be a direct sequel. Now, what do I consider as a direct sequel? The definition I will give to you of a direct sequel is a game out of a huge series that directly follows the previous game, where the plot of this game would not happen if it wasn't for the previous game. And this, I would say, is a direct sequel to Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Now, spoiler alert, I didn't review that, but spoiler alert, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi won, as according to the intro. And during this, the events of this game, the main events of this game, happened immediately after with the arising of the Dragon King Onaga. Okay, so it's going to be a little weird for me to talk about this game without talking about Deadly Alliance, because these two are interconnected, basically, with the plot. So, let's just go over Deadly Alliance's plot real quick. Deadly Alliance starts off with Shang Tsung and Quan Chi basically forming a Deadly Alliance so that they can take over all of the 6 realms. Well, 5 realms, 6 realms. I don't know if Edenia was merged with Outrealm at that point. I don't know if it was merged or if it was unmerged or whatever. I think it was unmerged at that point. But anyways, so they just come up with a plot to take over the 6 realms, and they take out two of the biggest threats. They take out two of the biggest threats to them. One of those being Liu Kang, which Shang Tsung ended up snapping his neck, and this would count as the first death of Liu Kang throughout the series, and that's where he was completely absent from the game. We'll talk about Liu Kang a little later, even though he serves a very minor role in Deception. But then they go ahead and take out Liu Kang's rival, Shao Kahn. So that leads to them basically, kind of going on a rampage, and it leads up to all the Earthrealm warriors to go ahead and stop them. Spoiler alert, they don't. So that leads to the events of Deception, where Raiden himself tries to stop them. Raiden himself tries to stop them. He ends up losing to them, and then Dragon King Onaga comes through. Now, who is the Dragon King Onaga? Let's go back all the way before the events of the first game. We're following this character named Shujinko. Okay, let's just summarize the story real quick. Okay, Shujinko is this kid who wants to be able to face Shang Tsung. Okay, that is his big dream. So he starts training how to fight. He learns how to fight with Master Boraicho, and he's not super skilled enough, So he ends up encountering this spirit, this avatar called Damashi. Damashi says that they are trapped somewhere. I don't exactly remember, but Damashi basically just grants him the ability to imitate other people's moves. So Shujinko ends up, coming back to Boraicho and, ends up passing his class. But Damashi basically puts Shujinko through this long journey of collecting these 6 gems, called the Kami Dogu. They're located throughout all the 6 realms, those being through Earth Realm, which is Shujinko's home, Outworld, Edenia, Order Realm, Chaos Realm, and the Nether Realm. Okay, now I'm not gonna go over the details of each of them. Shujinko spends his life collecting all of these, and I'm talking about a great amount of time. Shujinko is given different tasks throughout these time, but his whole point is to collect the Kami Dogu, and he's going through different journeys, like training with Sub-Zero and becomes an official member of the Lin Kuei in Earth Realm. He ends up training with Ashura and then with Ermac, and helps Ashura locate Ermac in the Nether Realm. In Outworld, he ends up stopping Shao Kahn from conquering the city by asking for by going to Order Realm and asking Hotaru and his soldiers there to go to Outworld and protect them. In Chaos Realm, he learns the ways of chaos from Havoc. And did I miss any realm? Let me see. I said Earth Realm, Nether Realm, Outworld, Order Realm, and Edenia. What did he do in Edenia? I don't remember what he did in Edenia, if I'm being honest with you. I know he started training Li Mei. This was the only time where Shujinko was teaching somebody, but he ended up directly training Li Mei in that game in Edenia, but I don't remember exactly what he did. I think what he did was try to stop Shao Kahn from conquering Edenia over again or something like that. I don't remember. But basically, the whole story takes place throughout the events of each Mortal Kombat game as things go on. I think, if I'm correct, the events of the first Mortal Kombat game come when Shujinko revisits Earthrealm again, because he ends up meeting Kenshi, which it's canonical that Kenshi was supposed to be in the I think according to Mortal Kombat lore that he or Lordal Kombat stop. Okay. But yeah, according to the Mortal Kombat lore, that he was supposed to be in it, but he never had the chance to it. No, it was either Kenshi or Nightwolf. It was one of those two. But yeah, Shujinko basically goes throughout the realms, training with different characters, and he ends up he ends up training with different characters. Also forgot to mention, it's not super important, but you can kind of get the idea. So Damashi made Liu Kang, I mean not Liu Kang, Shujinko the chosen warrior, basically. The champion of the Elder Gods, that's what it was. The champion of the Elder Gods. And that's why he was going out to collect the Kami Dogu. And the reason why I say this is because there's that one point where he encounters a monster, which was Scorpion, who was the real champion of the Elder Gods at this point. So yeah, but as I said, throughout the events of Mortal Kombat. Now, I will say, I want to say, it gets to the point where you are in Mortal Kombat 3, that point, where Shujinko ends up getting imprisoned, right? In Outworld, I believe. Yeah, it was Outworld. So as I mentioned, Outworld, he went to Order Realm to ask Hotaru, the, Order Realm guys, to protect this land, to protect this kingdom out in Outworld. So Shujinko ends up going there and he gets imprisoned because he violates their curfew. And they put him in prison to await trial. And this is where the worst writing of the game occurs. Because while he's awaiting trial, 20 years pass. 20 years pass. Now, I will be honest. Now, I will say it's not bad writing to have, like, there's a few moments, like 2 or 3 other moments that happen where Shujinko basically just gets aged up. Like, I think in Chaos Realm, he goes into this water and he's meditating in there for like 10 years or something like that. And, he's like adult Shujinko. Then there's a point where he gets to like middle-aged old man Shujinko. And then the 20 years happens where you get the main Shujinko, the old man Shujinko that you usually you see in the main game. So it's really, I won't say it's really bad writing, but it's pretty bad because it's like 20 years. But anyways, during that point, Shujinko ends up getting saved by this assassin named Dairu. And Hotaru basically like gets mad at Shujinko because he's like, oh, well, if you just waited, he would have given you a trial. Like, brother, I've been sitting in this cell for 20 years awaiting a trial. Like, what? But whatever. Shujinko escapes, he beats Hotaru, and he continues on with his journey. And eventually Shujinko collects the Kami Dogu, all of them, and Damashi ends up turning out to be this dragon named Onaga. Okay? Now, the conquest mode ends super abruptly. Like, the moment you meet Onaga is like, Onaga starts chasing after Shujinko. I forgot what happened exactly, but I know like Onaga had 2 things to chase after, and Shujinko, he had Shujinko and something else to chase after, and he chose the other thing, and Shujinko landed in Earthrealm again. But so yeah, that ends up leading into the cutscene that you have, and then the main game. So the conquest mode is more like a prelude to the main game. Okay. Now the deception in the name, it mostly applies to different characters. When you go through the different characters, um endings, of course. So let's just take some characters into account. Melina and Baraka. They have this rivalry going on at this point, and Melina's ending. She's posing as Kitana because she's a clone of Kitana. She's posing as Kitana, and so yeah, her deception is posing as Kitana basically, and Baraka knows that she's not Kitana, so she basically goes out and kills Baraka. But in Baraka's ending, she doesn't kill Baraka. It was a different Tarkatan, and because she's half Tarkatan, she doesn't have Tarkatan full Tarkatan senses. So she she comes back and he smells the blood on her and he kills her. So that's the deception of her. Like he sent a fake Baraka out there to see if she would kill him. Who else has a deception ending? Deceptive ending. Havoc. Havoc is, I believe, supposed to be an ally of Onaga, but once Onaga was killed, he basically takes Onaga's heart and eats it, I think, so he can gain his powers. It was really weird. Yeah, I know, it was really weird. Yeah, it was really weird. Another one was who else? Whew, I don't. Okay, let me think. Okay, Lee May. Lee May had a deceptive ending. Basically, she acts like she's one of the good guys, but then she turns around and basically gets that big old dragon dong. Yeah, she ends up like marrying Onaga. But anyways, yeah, it's not like a heavy amount of deception in this game, but it is. I mean, well, at least in the game's endings, but it does have a decent amount of it. It does fit the theme of lying, deceiving, deception. Falsifying. It does have that theme, and it does work in its biggest entrance. Instead of just like people just blatantly lying each other or something like that. No, I will say though the roster is pretty good too. It introduces characters like Havoc, Hotaru, Ashra. Who else was introduced? Darius, who doesn't have that big of a role in this game. Um, Shujinko, of course. Shujinko was the first, not antagonist, the first protagonist since Liu Kang. Like, he was the first new protagonist. This is when Mortal Kombat was trying to move away from Liu Kang. And it did not really work, And they tried with Shujinko. Then they tried in Armageddon with Taven. It didn't really work that well. Some characters do come back that don't have a major part of the story, like Raiden. Raiden doesn't have that big of a part of a story. I mean, Raiden knows that Shujinko isn't the champion of the Elder Gods. This was actually at the point where Raiden was Dark Raiden, because he ends up getting killed in the intro. He ends up blowing himself up. He ends up killing Shang Tsung. Quan Chi ended up escaping, and Onaga was barely affected by the blast. So yeah, but Raiden comes back as Dark Raiden, and with that, he ends up resurrecting Liu Kang as a zombie. So that also makes it interesting. The game also has some, like in the conquest mode, unlocking stuff. It does make it a challenge. Unlocking Liu Kang was definitely the hardest character to unlock. You also have some characters like Noob Smoke as a sub boss. Now, honestly, I don't think there's any lore reason for why they're the sub boss. Like previously, like in every other game, like with Mortal Kombat 1, Goro was the champion of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2, Kintaro was Goro's replacement. Then Mortal Kombat 3, Motaro, Shao Kahn ended up switching from the Shokan to the Centaurs, and Motaro was the lead Centaur. And then Mortal Kombat 4, I don't remember why Goro was the sub boss. I think he was the sub boss, right? And then Deadly Alliance, you had Moloch, who was basically who's basically there to protect Quan Chi. But this game, it doesn't really make sense as to why Noob Smoke are the sub boss. But they are pretty cool characters to fight, like the 2-in-1. I do really like that. The combat in this game is really nice. Like they did with Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, they have the fighting styles, the weapons. You have two fighting styles and one weapon fighting style. They have two fatalities back, and they introduce a mode. They introduce a finishing move called the Harakiri, which in Japanese culture, it was basically when a Japanese warrior will kill himself by taking his katana and opening up his stomach with it. That's actually the only time, the only genuine Harakiri is through Kenshi, of course, because he's the one with the sword. I don't remember if Scorpion does it though either, but I know Kenshi does it. So yeah, but basically, the Harakiris in this game are basically when you lose the fight, you input that code and you kill yourself rather than letting your opponent perform a fatality. So that's what it is. They kind of reintroduced it in MK1 with the quitalities, but it's not really the same because it only happens online. But yeah, they do introduce some new stuff, bring back some old stuff. They also have chess combat and puzzle combat. Chess combat, you choose like 3 or 4 fighters to play, to replace chess pieces, and it plays like regular chess. Then you have puzzle combat. I don't remember what puzzle combat was like. I think it was like Tetris, if I'm correct. I haven't played puzzle combat in a while, but that was also pretty nice as well. You unlock puzzle fighters throughout the game as well. So the game is pretty fun, if I'm being honest with you. The biggest downfall I would have to say is, I gotta really think about that, is probably the plot. That's really it. Everything else about this game is really good. It's like that perfect mix where they add stuff, they improve on the stuff from Deadly Alliance, and they add more to it. But it's not like they add so much that it becomes like mind-numbing like they did with Armageddon. It's like the perfect mix of both games. So this game is one of the best Mortal Kombat games I've played, if I'm being completely honest. This game gets a pass. Mortal Kombat Deception 2004, Mortal Kombat 6, PS2, Xbox, GameCube. Also forgot to mention, the GameCube version of this game has Shao Kahn and Goro as exclusive characters as well. Yeah, for some reason, like they like to do console exclusive characters. Like with Mortal Kombat Trilogy, they had the female chameleon playing on the Nintendo version of it, the Nintendo 64 version. Then you have Goro, and then you have like a bunch of fighters for the Sega Genesis version of MK4. But anyways, yeah, Mortal Kombat 4, Deception gets a pass. This game gets a 9 out of 10. Hope you all have a blessed day. I'm out. Jesus loves you, and I love you as well. I'll see you maybe, we'll see. At the latest, Monday. At the earliest, maybe Saturday. So I'll see you. Have a blessed day. Goodbye. And sorry if this seems odd. As I said, this was like a last minute thing. So goodbye.